All right, Tommy, thanks again.
No comment.
And that's the interview.
No
Thank
comment,
you.
yeah.
Thanks.
No comment.
Big signing. Kind of expected to see guys like Martin Nash here. I mean, I was kind of the insider a little bit, so I knew a little bit going on. But what do you think is going to be? I mean, I guess the only question I can really ask you is what's going to be the biggest difference in transition going from playing at a PDL level to now these guys having to play at this level, which is kind of an unknown factor.
Longer season, you're paying professionals, so it's their trade, and with that becomes, more challenging environments, tougher questions. You've got to leave people out that, are relying on this, and so it's interesting, and we're starting from scratch. None of us have any signed players other than York Knight. I'm sure Jimmy's out there. He's already got some. I'm just kidding. So we're all starting from scratch, and I think that's the challenge now. And it's exciting. We're going coast to coast, and part of that is storytelling. We're going to be, saying that we're going this. Halifax. I leave for Halifax tomorrow. I'm interested to see what type of players are out there because I've never been out there once, and then we move across to Montreal and to Hamilton, to York, and then coming back through and having the one in Calgary and finishing off in Van Isle. And that's exciting because you're telling the story of the league, but you're also inspiring players, and that's what we're doing this for. We want the young next generation to want to show if they do have got game.
So what would you say? I mean, you said locally is where your focus is going to be, and then you're going to move away from there. Any idea as to what you're going to look for when it comes to international players? Are you looking for more, the English style player? Are you looking for more of a South American style player, or is it just kind of what?
It's pieces. So, for example, I think by having our local base early, we see what pieces we have. Then we build onto it and say, right, what are there that are Canadians out there that we need and would good and would do well for this club? We'll look to sign them, and then from there, whatever pieces we're missing. And usually you get a flair player from South America, or you might get a target striker from England, or you might get a left winger coming out of Portugal. These are the things that we'll identify as we get going. So that with it is exciting too. It's like I use the analogy when people ask me what's the job like. I said it's like fantasy football but for real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
we're building a team from scratch. Yeah. You've got a certain amount to do it. Yeah. And you've got to do it before April.
Well, I guess it's almost tougher in this sense because starting from scratch, you're literally building it from you're not inheriting a budget or a team, and everything is kind of starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And now you guys are saying how is everything kind of.
But yeah, I mean, I use the Vegas Golden Knights as an example. I mean, they had their expansion draft, and look what they did. They picked the right people, they picked the right players, and they built a culture from the get-go. And I think that's what we have to do. Is it's going to be about people, and the performance side of it. I think we're equipped enough as coaches that I think we can get players to that level, but we've got to get the right people. That's important to us.
So from the PDL side and moving in, and that this PDL season was kind of like an audition for most of those guys.
Absolutely.
But where I guess maybe a problem lies is not all of those guys were from Calgary. You had guys from Winnipeg, you had guys from Edmonton. What happens to those guys now?
Depends. I mean, first off, I'm sure we'll come up with a system later. I'm sure we'll have some great conversations with, Rob Gale at Winnipeg. I'm sure he's going to be interested in, Moses Danto and Ali Musi. Why wouldn't he be? It's the same for me. If Marco was playing for him, he'd be interested. But at the end of the day, it's going to be down to the player. I believe that they've got to play what's right for them, what's right for their career, for their family life, and then we as coaches and staff and managers and owners have to respect that. And I think that's what the difference maker is. Some people need to leave their town for whatever reasons, and some people want to go and represent their town. And we know we have to have that element of homegrown, absolutely. But it'll be down to the player initially. But fortunate for them, they're going to have more than one proposal.
Well, best of luck against Edmonton in the first official Al Clasico, which you can almost dub the official one.
Yeah.
Saw a couple, but best of luck in that, and I guess we'll see you on that day.
Well, then, when we play the first league game, will that then become the first official Al Clasico?
Yeah, I guess we're always moving one step. One step forward always.
Well, what's great about this, the fans made it up. I mean, so they're the ones that have brought it to our attention. It was Jeff and I that, when I was obviously with Foothills, and he was with the FC Edmonton Academy, and said, look, how's about doing this? And we jumped on it. We loved it. I mean, we played them a few times in other ways, but now it's got an official thing to it, and it is pride. Look, we're going to identify prospects and local talent, and we're going to run through, some young players. But both of us are going to want to win that game, and that drives fan base and interest and bragging rights through the Christmas.
So as far as the El Clasico game itself goes, can we expect to see some new faces that we didn't see in the PDL?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be looking at some local heroes that are playing in the amateur system here. We're not touching any of the youth sports because they're in season. We respect that system's going on. So anybody that's even that was with RPDL that have gone back, or anybody that's playing locally at MRU and Dinos, we respect that that's their season, that's their focus. That'll come later. That'll come in the off season when they're done, or the Christmas break, right? But yeah, we're going to look at there, and maybe a couple of the local promising academy kids that we want to say, look, have a taster, be around the players, be around the venue. This is your future if you work at it.
I heard the youngest registrant was from Calgary.
Really? 16.
16 and 7 days old, that's what they said.
Brilliant.
Yeah. No idea who that is?
I do, yeah.
Do I have an idea who that is? Probably?
Yeah.
You can't say it?
If I think, I've seen on the list, I believe it's a couple of the Foothills Academy lads. Caden Rosinski.
That was the first person that came to my head.
And or Aravind Pebble. And I don't know their birth dates, but I know both of them were born in 2002. And again, those guys have just come back from England. Leon Apgood had taken them across. And they've got a great future. So
when Caden stayed behind, he also did some time with Plymouth Argyle when he went on that tour, didn't he?
Kid's good. And it'd be likely one of those that we'll look to maybe have a look at in the El Clasico as well.
It'll be good to see. Well, once again, congratulations on everything. Nice to see the team coming together and the coaching staff.